Morning, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Friday, April 8th, 2016 at about 9:30 in the morning. And I guess I was wrong. These guys do work on Friday sometimes. They showed up here about 45 minutes ago. So the saga will continue today. And like it or not, you're going to get to watch some of it. Well, the crew chiefs told me the power's going to be out a bit here today. He says about 2 hours. So we'll see about that. Hope I didn't mess up my sensor with all this sunlight. I don't know what they're trying to find. Well, they're trying to find my service line. I think to do something to it. Oh, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're having a little snow shower right now. I think they finished lunch here, and maybe we'll be getting back to work here presently. So we'll have to see what happens here. Well, now it's starting to come down almost like a little sleet. Well, pay no attention to that shoddy camera work. Well, the power is obviously out and the generator's on, which means that paradoxically the power is on in the house. The guy said it's going to be about maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We'll see. Anyway, I think I've got 12 gallons of diesel fuel in reserve, and I've got 6 in the tank. This thing burns about half a gallon an hour, so we should be fine. Started right up. Of course, I'd had the thing on, the float charge, just continual float. But it, no hesitation. So as long as I keep that thing on float, I can use that battery, although I just soon get a new battery. Looks like I kind of like to stay in the house while I've got this thing running. I don't like to scamper off and abandon it here. But you can sort of see through the pine tree there where they're doing work on the old pole here. Well, obviously they're going to transfer the old transformer over to the new pole. I thought maybe they'd bring in a brand new transformer. Sometimes they do. Well, the transformer's been shifted over. Looks like they're doing some sort of neutral wire anastomosis. Somebody's firing up a chainsaw. Cement truck are coming here, it looks like. Getting ready to back in. Apparently all that concrete pouring is in connection with like a street light they're going to have down there. So here we are, guys, Joe and Paul, and it's getting on toward 10 till 4 Eastern time in the afternoon. 15:50. The electrical maelstrom seems to be pretty much over now. They've packed up and departed. But one thing I neglected to tell you about or show you is they cut the phone line, and Paul witnessed this. Paul will now tell how they cut the phone line.
Okay. The other day, they dug out the driveway and tore down the 2 old poles. Well, the phone line was on it.
Yeah.
Well, the idle people thought that
well,
was just a dead old wire.
Well, we've done that. We finished that. I mean, I've shown that. I'm talking about today.
All right.
No, I mean, I've told them the story of the yeah.
Well, today they're moving the, they moved transformer from pole to pole in the lines. Even the buried line to the power lines to the house. Alright. Now, the J-boy
he who cut the limbs of the pine tree off in a previous video.
Right. He
But those with ears here.
They dug up with shovels like find the buried lines. Okay. Well, they moved this stuff over to the pole they're going to keep. And he's out there and he's throwing the dirt into the ground. Well, see, when the Joe the phone guy put up the new stuff, he didn't put it in the ground. He left it laying on the ground.
Well, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. It was already buried. I mean, it was buried. You know, he merely spliced the phone line that was hanging in the air that had been cut together, and then found the phone line that was there in the ground from where they had cut the pole, and he made a nice new phone line drop, and so he had anastomosis in the air over to the pole, phone line dropped down to where he, actually he didn't anastomose anything down there. He merely put a new junction box and pulled the line that was in the ground out about so far and hooked it to this new junction box. I mean, he did not unbury any phone line.
I just thought he left.
Well, no. Well, I mean, I suppose there might have been like maybe this much wire right at the base of the pole by the ground, on the ground. You could see from this little gray pipe, plastic thing from the little new junction box.
It's more than that.
Well, without becoming becalmed, apparently, Paul saw this J-boy, go fetch a pair of wire cutters, big heavy gauge wire cutters, just to cut a little coaxial phone cable, which you can do with just a hand nipper, because I've done it. And cut this thing deliberately.
Yeah.
And then the ensuing
supervisor jumped out of his truck and he yelled, "What the F are you doing, you idiot? That's the phone line." And he said, "It's in my way." Because he was buried.
Well, I mean, the only rationale I could figure out would be like, they don't want anything at all going over over the service line to the house. I mean, I could see that as a rationale, but certainly you wouldn't have to cut the damn thing to, you just, put it up, throw dirt under it and leave it on the ground, and then the phone company can attend to it when they come out and deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Apparently that wasn't the thought process in J-Boy. Well,
J-Boy just pulled it up, took the thing, and he
well, we know J-Boy doesn't think
nipped it off
too far ahead, given his
past history.
Well, yeah,
doing shit.
Yeah, just cut those 3 limbs off because
Yeah, it was easier than just pulling the truck
just pulling the fucking truck forward by about 3.5 feet. Well, so he cut the phone line. So then it seems that he and the supervisor attempt to splice this phone line back together. Now, I didn't really think there was going to be much come of that, but by golly, it actually we have a better dial tone than we did before. But I'm still going to have to call the phone company because they're going to want they're going to want to shift the stuff over anyway. And 2, I mean, I really want them to do a proper job on this because I mean, unless you've had that sort of like phone company training, I don't know, maybe this guy's had phone company training, or maybe he's obviously ex-military, maybe he did this shit in the military and he knows how to do it. He obviously knew how to do it, at least so it works right now. But it sounds like a deliberate wanton act.
Yeah. I mean, I watched him do it.
This guy's been out here the 2 times they've been out here. Not one time. Most of these guys on the crew, you can chat with them, you can talk to them. They'll just at least nod and smile.
Say hello. How you doing today?
This guy, Zippo. I mean, not one hi, yay, nay, good morning, even a nod or an acknowledgement.
The only
really
acknowledgement
strange.
I got from J-Boy was when he cut the limbs off after I had asked him to move the truck. He walked around and you weren't there.
You weren't there.
Shocked face.
You weren't down there when that happened. I was down there when that happened. You may have interacted with him on an earlier occasion, but not the recent one. You weren't down there. Well, okay. All right. Well, you can't say I don't try to go the extra mile. uh, in sort of a condensed form, as near as I can figure out from what I was told, because I was inside sort of tending the generator and wanting to, get everything squared away in the house again after, because you have to sort of shift, some things around when you go onto the generator power. Apparently this guy just he just cut the line. As I said, I mean, there were other ways that could probably have been done. I mean, I could see why they wouldn't want a line across the service line. And Lord knows these guys that dug this stuff up by hand here, they spent the better part of about 3.5 hours, two of them, digging down to where they, so they wouldn't, obviously they didn't want to dig into these live service lines, and I did fully expect them to nail the phone line, but I expected them to nail it accidentally. I didn't expect them to nail it deliberately. When they actually had it, I'll call the phone company and have them come out and check it, and because they're going to have to shift things around anyway. So, fair enough. But nobody got hurt. I'm glad I got a chance to run the generator. I mean, I really do need to get a new battery, but if I keep that thing on float, obviously it'll run. Here's my agenda for tomorrow. Among other things, is I got to renew my Ohio medical license. I got these materials here a few days ago, and I got to be sure and do it. It's trying to get onto their website is really a bit of a struggle and a nightmare. They give you a special password that you have to use, and that's fine. But a lot of times it just doesn't recognize you. But yeah, I just soon do it online rather than mail it in. I mean, it's faster. I can't recall if I did it online or not last year or not. No, I think I actually did it. No, it was 2 years ago. Ohio renews for every 2 years, and no, I did it by mail 2 years ago because I couldn't get in online. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Meanwhile, once again, I've missed the second day of the Masters. Regardless of internet stuff and this, that, and the other. I mean, well, of course, I couldn't watch the second day of the Masters until I got the computer. But in the 3.5 years I've had the computer, I've missed the second day of the Masters each year. I don't know why. I mean, various reasons, obviously. The day they were out, roaming around out into my driveway, trying to kill my power. So, well, they did. I mean, they had to. Well, that's going to be it for the day here, I think. Well, I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you about that in another video. So bye-bye, YouTubers.